Meditations in a Year of High Consequence, day 6, I believe. But I'll probably change it soon, or maybe even in this one, because it's more shifting to something more about like we got to get started doing things and not just talking. So I think in the last one I mentioned the Intrepid Citizens Council meetings, and I think that's how I'm going to be thinking of this now. The difference is trying to reach everyone versus talking to people I already like can already get where I'm coming from and what do we do now, kids? Understanding everything I've been trying to explain. Now what? That whole thing. And also, it's February 10th, Tuesday, 2026. All kind of stuff happening, breaking loose everywhere. And we have the Ebb files and all the CK controversies, which put all kinds of crazy things everywhere. People, the whole pointing fingers thing is like getting worse. And now there's some like validation for the right wing that's been calling people evil. Because what the hell is the Ebb files if not something along those lines, right? All kinds of divisive craziness has been getting validated lately. And I want to say to just put some of that back, push it back. The whole idea of a dark, diabolical elite. Not just, I've been trying to like cut the elite some slack in the context of an economy that, and even a social structure that has us all kind of pitted against each other, with the only means of trusting each other are institutions at this point. It's not personal. The only place where it's personal is at the family level. And first thing that happens in this society is they break up the family, send people in different directions, and pursue personal careers. Again, here I go slipping into trying to reach everyone mode. But things on the ground need to start breaking out because, and again, I'm only talking to the Intrepid Citizens Council because people are caught up in divisiveness. I know even some of the people listening to the 3 people listening to this have their bias, and strangely to me. And so, but I wanted to mention I reprise a lot of thoughts a lot, but I'm coming to a place now where there's a lot of new thoughts and formulations, and also the idea of putting them on the ground where something can happen. I've got that 3-sided like way of looking at things, and that applies to this right now. This Intrepid Citizen Council meeting, then it's just me and the one mind at this point, and so there's that. But there's also responding to the actual date, so it's a kind of a document, and then it's also kind of trying to get to some generalized principles that could be shared or even turned into part of a presentation about what we all could be doing, because that's it. So that's getting back to the Intrepid Citizens Council. Let's assume I have a handful of people that kind of agree with me. What do we do now? And we need to activate. But I can explain why, because I still think I have some people that agree with me about the urgency of the situation. But most people, especially if they're still stuck in finger pointing mode, such as we have to stop the oil companies and the elites are doing this to us. That's where everybody's at right now, pretty much. And whether that be major media or podcasts, because podcasts, although I like them a lot more in a way because they're personal, and that's where we need to come back to, but they're still incentivized to sensationalize, and the whole economy and society and even education in our society has been for a while now, hundreds of years, for as far as the dominant culture, not those that just got taken by surprise more recently, like, yikes, what the hell is this? And gone suddenly from being integrated in whatever version of tribal they had, which in some cases was enlightened and in other cases was peculiar and weird, but still connected to the ground and lasting generations sort of in a stable form. But we don't know. There's a lot of different things that happen recently. in the whole world history. I mean, there were cities in America, large ones, 80 million, upwards of 80 million people potentially were living here along the Mississippi, big cities and all this. But let's let all of that go. Here we are now. We have huge cities to deal with and all kind of crises. I'm talking to the Intrepid Citizens Council. What do we do, kids? Watch the news and freak out? Wonder what Europe is going to do? Wonder what Trump's going to do? None of that. Listen, here's my take on this. Trump is a human being. Europe is a committee of bureaucrats. I don't know, man. 12 dozen of one and 6.5 of the other. Or whatever that means. But I'm grateful that they put a stop to whatever weirdness was happening. The Democrat Party's been a long time now not trusting you guys. I liked Bernie. Not that I like the approach of socialism, but I do like the approach of containing some of this greediness, yes. But the thing is that's still a Band-Aid. It's a big Band-Aid, but it's still just a Band-Aid. You heal the greediness at its core, where we're not separate from our grounding and feeling part of a community or connection to resource. Fuck, that's where greediness starts. And how far back do we have to go in our own Western or even Chinese or, big empire style civilizations where they lost that connection, where everybody says, nah, I'm good. My tribe's got my back. No worries. How long ago did we give up no worries? Yeah, so can we bring it back to no worries? When it looks like all we're doing is increasing the worries? And now we have these amazing tools, but we're misusing them. Like AI could easily be used to integrate complex interactions so we all know where our food is coming from, even if it's 1,000 different front lawns turned into permaculture farms, for example. And I think we're in a place where I can talk fantasy and it's not so much fantasy anymore. Because people are talking about let's move to Mars. Like, yeah, that's pretty difficult to do now. 7 of you might get there and then you're all going to kill each other and sell yourselves or something. I'm just saying. And I'm telling, see, the other thing, people want to hold back, trying to give. Now, there's a lot of giving away of information out there right now, but you can't trust it. I'm saying like in the health food section. And, God damn it, people trying to reach me right now. And because, there's things going on all over the world, and I'm tuned in to what's happening in Uganda, for example, where what I like about that is that individual brave brothers around the age of 22 are stepping up to try to do some permaculture farms and then be able to take care of more orphans and refugees and other things. But there's and so other people here is like, oh, that's all scams. So what even if it is? But no, you don't want to just be giving people money for stupid raps. But the truth is, there's starvation and edge situation all over the world. But the reason I'm interested in what's going on in Uganda and Kenya is that they're trying to build up a kind of fractal of a community and with direct connection to resource, which is the first building block, food, that is. So that's the model of how you do it, starting with nothing. And over here, we have a lot of small farms right where I'm at. I want to say the three-sided perspective thing allows me to believe in a kind of mystic path. Mystic could be just, fiction. But anyway, I'm on a like guided path of some sort. And I did say to my spirit posse, I don't pray. I talk to my spirit posse, say, yo, brothers and sisters, and whatever else you got. Take me to the front lines of activism, make me a ninja on the way. And I'm here in Tallahassee trying to be this is because I don't have a family, which I decided long ago that this planet was a healing mission to heal it because it didn't look right. Let's just leave it there. In 6th grade, I had that thought. I was in New York City. I was living in Queens, commuting to Manhattan to go to 6th grade at the school where John Kennedy had gotten kicked out. And we all came from the Canary Islands. Dad scored the Gucci account and went into like the world of not having to worry about stuff. Although he was very like sincere. He was a mystic. And I took that another step and did some visioning of my own. And he was a really good architect, and I'm an artist. And I try to give away my music and not commodify it. But the point is, I've been thinking about how we do a real society and economy since New York City back in the day when I was in sixth grade. And that's where I decided I'm not going to have a family, because I see people turning away from what they know is what they really should be doing. But then they go, oh shit, I just got to make some money for my family. Well, that includes everybody right now almost, and all the institutions. So you have like a dearth of outside the box thinking. But karma is forcing us to do outside the box thinking, because it's just crushing some of these boxes. And there's already a handful of people that I'm trying to reach. Alan Kirk is one. He wants to see things on paper, and it's just good discipline. I'm glad he's in there. I need to put uh, bullet points about what's going on. As I say, most of these reiterate a handful of points. I'm seeing it. And I apologize for the what may look like lack of discipline that I haven't turned it into a document yet. But this is where I go back to, here's the part I'm trusting. This is like the Jehovahite side, that there's destiny in what I'm trying to do. But then I got to go back to the Buddhite side, where I stay in touch with that by staying grounded from an inner sense of knowing and meditation, and staying in a flow, which comes from what I'm calling the Buddhite side of direct connection to spirit information, or just personal subjective self-awareness. But if you just stay with the Buddhite side, you don't get into this personal destiny thing, which says, you know what, I don't care what you Buddhites think of me. I'm holding on to my high ego. I'm humble enough to not care what you all think and stick my neck out and think I might have something to say. What the fuck? You all probably do too. If you got over your pretend, shy, I don't want to pretend I know. You know, I'm connect right now. I'm being critical of the Buddhists, but I'm critical of the Christians that say you're not supposed to find your own way. And then I'm critical about both those sides, because we better do this on the ground. As in, where are you spending your money? Who are you going to work for? Why are you driving a million miles? And then from the practical point of view of all these discrepancies we have in perspectives, I'm saying discrepancies because what they are is they're all left and right. Higher values need to come together to get anything done. The higher values of the left is you want to take into account the whole ecology of interaction, and be just for all the moving parts. In this case, human beings. But from the right, you want to make sure the thing works. Those are the essentials. So can we, which at first you can make it work for your family, and then it takes a little more work to figure out how you make it work for your family and employees, and how to make that work so that it's sweet. What does that mean? You have to have efficiencies, or what's your goal? And when you spread, but then your first is you rip off everybody that's not in your business. Well, you get a more complicated business that networks out to what everybody's really doing. That's what the attempt at having a world economy. Let's bring everybody into relevance. Yeah, but that skips the part that keeps them connected. And so we're trying to bring it back to connection from a mass of disconnected consumer units, production units. And it's okay to I don't think that the people in current investments are thinking straight when they say we're just going to make everything AI. Yeah, well, who are they going to sell anything to? You've just put everybody out of business and nobody has a job. Yeah, you separate those two out, it doesn't even work. So we're coming to a thing where I don't think economists understand what's going on. But why do you need to eat an economy? And the old tribes didn't need it. But there's an organic way to bring it back. See, I went a little general here, but okay, the Intrepid Citizens Council. It's another version of what I've been trying to say. This is reiteration. I have room for another 15 minutes today. But we're trying to bring it back to practical things that can be done in the next 3 years before the politics takes over again. And again, most people are enthralled in the politics and the finger pointing even now. So that naturally leaves me talking to those that might want to just get constructive in the midst of all this noise. And that's what we need to do. and people are getting just sick of the noise and they're tuning out. I think that's another thing. But yeah, on the ground for me, there's 5 or 7 different directions I can go. Small business, both black and white. I'm talking to Walmart to some extent. I don't know. That's large. That's down the line. The 2 universities, the government agencies, the nonprofits, and there's ways to integrate all this in a new paradigm that contextualizes who we are. And it's just going back to things that are familiar, but maybe you can use AI. I think that AI can make it simpler, but the concept is not hard. And I'm going to try to cut another one soon before I lose track of stuff. The early mornings is magical energies, and people should be more attuned to that.